a card. Limitations apply. Discover card. By the way, I don't want to name drop or anything. I don't want to name drop. But during the break, I was at a charity ski event in Beaver Creek, Colorado this weekend. I buried the lead. I hung out with Colin Underwood, who's the handsome guy, very nice guy, very pleasant. Didn't hang out with him. We talked.
He's the Bachelor.
What did I say?
You just described
he's the Bachelor.
Described him as a handsome guy. You didn't say
he was the Bachelor.
Yes.
Everybody in America is talking about the Bachelor. I hung out with the Bachelor this weekend. Hung out's a little strong, but
he asked you about your mock draft.
He asked me about my mock draft. He wanted to know who the Jags had at like 8 or something. It's very nice, very pleasant.
Who do they have at 8?
I don't have my draft with me.
Okay.
But I hung out with Colin Underwood. Women like him. He's very handsome. Cheekbones, everything.
And then you spent 9 hours in an airport.
I spent 9 hours. I just happened to be in the state that was having avalanches all around me all weekend.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
All right, well, this is usually the time of the year that I sit there and I tell everybody this is stupid. LeBron's the MVP. Stop giving it to Westbrook and Harden. And so this morning I thought, if I had an MVP vote this year, and I consider a lot of stuff, do your points mean wins? When you score more, does your team win more? Do you play defense? How many games have you missed? You know, I'm not one of these guys. I mean, James Harden is going to have the best scoring average in like 20 years. Does he play defense? When he shoots a bunch, does his team win? I don't. To me, most valuable isn't most points, or it would be called the MPP, most points player. It's called the most valuable player. And here I thought if I was voting today, and I probably should have a vote, I'm a significant American media icon. Ask the Bachelor. He acknowledged my presence. So here is my top 10 MVP votes in the NBA, because I think we're getting close to it. Number one would be Paul George. Paul George. By the way, when he scores a bunch, they're 21-4. So his points mean wins. He is the best two-way player in the NBA. He is shooting 40% from three. He has been tremendously important. And let me tell you something else about him. He is playing with a guy who historically is not always the easiest guy to play with. Russell Westbrook is pretty rigid, is pretty relentless. Paul George has been able to wrestle away the last 4 minutes of the fourth quarter from Westbrook. 40% from threes, leads the NBA in steals. He is the best available on a nightly basis two-way player in the NBA. Paul George is my MVP.
Number 2.
Giannis. Okay, Giannis is a phenom, the Greek freak. Bucks have the best record. Here's why I have him too. He's missed 5 games this year, and the Bucks have a winning record without him. It matters. The Bucks are just as good with him on the court as they are without him. Now, you don't have a huge sample size without him because he's mostly playing, but they're a plus 7.7 with him on the court, and they're a plus 7.7 without him on the court. He's my number 2.
Number 3.
We're overlooking that Kevin Durant, you could make an argument, is having, one of his great years. I mean, Kevin Durant's his best assist year ever. He's the healthiest he's been. He's only missed 1 game this year. The Warriors, despite being the favorites every night, apathy setting in, have the best record in the very deep West. He's averaging the most points he's ever scored in Golden State. He's averaging almost 28 points a game. Kevin Durant right now is a better player than LeBron James this season. Not saying greater overall. Kevin Durant's having a great year.
Number 4.
So Steph Curry. I give the slight edge to Durant because I do think on the defensive end, he's a better player. Curry, by the way, all his numbers are just off his unanimous MVP season, but because Harden and Westbrook are more dramatic, tend to be a little more offensively relentless, are in the news more, we're forgetting that Steph Curry's having an unbelievable game. And for the record, he's missed 11 games. This dynasty has a losing record when he's out. It's one of the great things about Steph Curry that you can't deny. Durant may be the greater overall player, but they win without Durant. They do not win without Steph Curry. He's my number 4.
Number 5.
Yes, James Harden is going to average 35 a game, and he's going to win the scoring title. But this team is actually better when Chris Paul gets the controls, is allowed to have somewhere between 10, 11 assists. They're 12-0. when James gives the ball up, does a little less ISO. That's not to say he's not tremendous. I don't think he's a good defensive player, although I think his effort is improved over the last 2 years. He got a lot of heat, a lot of YouTube videos making fun of it. He does play a better defense. And he has one of these amazing years, but most of these NBA fanboys, triple-double, a million straight 30-point games. That doesn't equal value. It's not a stat-only award. I have Harden at 5.
Number 6.
Joel Embiid of the Sixers. Ben Simmons hasn't gotten better. This is Joel Embiid's team, and he's having his best year. Now, he's missed 9 games, but to his credit, in the 9 games he's missed, even though they've got Redick and Butler and Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons, he's missed 9 games. They're 4-5. His presence on the court absolutely matters. Top 5 scoring. Arguably the best rebounder in the NBA, Joel Embiid at 6.
Number 7.
Yeah, Denver Nuggets. Breaking news, you're on the show. Nikola Jokic is their best player by far. In fact, I think the problem with Denver is he leads them in everything. Points, rebounds, assists, steals. He's also a very willing teammate. They're 22-3 when he has 9+ assists. He's there every night. He's only missed 1 game. And the Nuggets, he's clearly carrying this team. The key to this team is they've got, how many guys do they have that average like over 10 points? They got like 7. It's a very, very deep team. I think they're too Jokic centralized. I think they need more of him, more guys at his level. But he's there every night. When he plays well, they win. They're second best in the West, so he's my 7.
Number 8.
Kawhi Leonard's the second best two-way player in the NBA. Paul George is number 1. The problem with Kawhi Leonard now, he's missing more and more games. He's missed 18 games this year, and the problem is Raptors are 13-5 when he doesn't play. Kawhi's a fascinating player. He doesn't pass. He's not a great communicator. He's just a great old-school basketball player that gives you 100% on both ends of the floor. But one of the remarkable things about Kawhi, and why I struggle with him in MVP conversations, teams win with him, teams win without him. Like the Raptors and the Spurs, they won games without him. So I put him at 8.
Number 9.
Ahead of LeBron James, barely. Let's not pretend that LeBron is a stiff. He's averaging 27, 9, and 8 in his 16th season. And he still has helped the Lakers. When he plays, believe it or not, they have a winning record this year, 24-22. He has missed 18 games, but it should be duly noted, they're 6-12 when he doesn't play. So LeBron is 9th in my voting. Let's not go crazy. It's been a really disappointing year. Almost every other player in the year in the NBA would take LeBron's numbers this year. They're fantastic numbers, but he has really dropped off precipitously on the defensive end.
Number 10.
Damian Lillard. Only missed 1 game. He's having a great year shooting. They added Rodney Hood and Enes Kanter. Going to be kind of an interesting team. They've got about 4 or 5 real players now. They got swept last year in the playoffs, but Damian, career high in field goal percentage, 47%. He has absolutely led this team, top 3 in the West. Came out this year and said, I'm not interested in running around the country. I want to be in Portland. I'd like to see that from players. I don't think everybody has to be super mobile, although I'm not going to criticize the guy when he is. But I think Damian's a top 10 player in the league, and I think he's had a top 10 year. They're having a couple of guys I'm disappointed with. Ben Simmons has been a bummer this year. Didn't get better. Donovan Mitchell's been better of late. Utah was a little disappointing as a team in the first half. I think Utah's kind of finding their way. So there's my top 10 guys. Joy, you can go ahead and respond. You didn't like one of my picks.
Well, I just think you're going to get major pushback on putting James Harden at 5 because he's been in the MVP conversation all year. Just basically swapping places with Giannis and Paul George.
I know.
I have no problem with Paul George.
So you don't either. You don't.
No. I mean, I think it will go to Giannis
You're
because
right.
they have the best record, and he deserves it. It's not like it's.
And by the way, incredibly likable guy.
Right.
I mean, in the end, let's be honest. We've seen this with Hall of Fame votes. If you're a jerk, the media can tweak their votes. Giannis is as liked as anybody in the NBA.
No, and I think he's deserving on top of not being liked. But I do think that Steph and KD sort of cancel each other out. They're both having great seasons, and they're just not going to get MVP credit for it because they play together.
I was thinking about this today. How about a show of hands? I've been very tough on Westbrook, but I gotta say this: he has not gradually. He has handed over late game shooting responsibility to Paul George, and he deserves credit for that. Westbrook is very rigid and can be very relentless. He has these moments. Is Kyrie Irving becoming my new Westbrook?
I think it depends on how it goes in the postseason.
It's getting very close, Joy. I'm sorry. This is a disaster. This team was winning without Kyrie. He's becoming my new Westbrook. I'm going to sleep on that. He may be the new Westbrook. Seriously, it's embarrassing.
So you're willing to admit that you were wrong about Westbrook?
No. I'm just willing to move off him. I was totally right.
Okay.
He's Westbrook with a jumper. When the real tough weather hits, and we got at least another month of winter and another 6 to 8 weeks of spring, you want to have Michelin premium wiper blades. Joe, I just need somebody in the NBA to beat up on. When the league starts, I got to find somebody that drives me crazy. Michelin premium wiper blades. You'll drive more safely. You'll see more clearly. You got.